Hey everybody, welcome to Storytime tonight. Glad to see you here. You guys will remember, my name is Tim Holmes, and I am the author of books such as Peanut Butter and Dragon, Splash Fin Toothy Grin, and my latest, The Reno Buzz. And so those books, of course, you can get at bookstores, at Amazon. You can actually even get them in the bookshop at timholmes.com, right there. And tonight's story time that we're going to be taking part in, tonight we're actually going to do two stories. And the two stories are ones that have been created by young authors. And it has been an exceptional pleasure of mine to work with young people and children as young as kindergarten that really have these amazing, funny, and heartfelt sometimes stories to tell. And I also love it when moms and dads get involved and they sort of support that process, helping them through. It's really wonderful and something that can really bring families together. So tonight's story times, we're going to do two stories tonight, are not mine. They are brought to you by children that I happen to have inspired. So that's kind of cool. Sunday, the way this first story came about is on Sunday. Every Sunday for the last little while, I've been putting out a Sunday story starter. And it's a little image and some words beneath. And these are them. This is what I put out last Sunday. Beautiful little picture of a hippo and his friends. And down at the bottom it says, fish swam the fastest, dragonfly flew the highest, frog leaped the longest, what could hippo be best at? And so I posed that question to any children or families that wanted to get involved and build these stories together. And one such group, two young lads named Eric and Owen. Eric and Owen, if you're watching tonight, I hope you are. I am extremely proud of you, and I'm super excited to share your story with everybody. Thank you for giving me permission to do so. Eric and Owen are 9 and 6 years old. And so this story comes from them. They worked together with their mom to put this together. And I think they set a record. They put this story together in the afternoon, on Sunday afternoon. And I got a little message from Eric and Owen's mom, and she shared the story with me. And so here we are now getting to share it with all of you. So from story starter to a story, I didn't have a title when I got sent the story, and I don't know if they've picked one out. So I made up my own title for this particular one, and you guys, it's your story, so if you don't like it, go ahead and change it. This one we're going to call Harold's Best. For the purposes of tonight, we're going to call this story Harold's Best. And so without further ado, I present to you Eric and Owen, 9 and 6 years old. This is their story. Harold the hippo lived in Swampy Valley with his friends Felicity the fish, Wings the dragonfly, and Freaky the frog. One day, Harold realized that all of his friends were best at something. Felicity, she swam the fastest. And Wings the dragonfly, he could fly the highest. And Freaky the frog, man, could he ever leap. He leaped the longest. And Harold sat there and thought, what am I best at? First, he tried hockey, because he was a Canadian hippo, I guess. He tried hockey, but when he shot the puck, he accidentally broke the stick. Oh, no. Next, he tried weightlifting. Oh, my goodness. But when he lifted the weights, oh, no, he forgot to hold on. And the weights flew through the air and almost landed on his friends. Oh, no. Then he tried baking. He tried to bake Felicity, the fish's favorite treat, seaweed bread. Yummy. But he accidentally crushed the bag of flour, and the flour, it exploded everywhere. I guess I'm just not the best at anything, Harold thought. Just then, an alligator swam up to them, and Felicity the fish, Wings the dragonfly, and Freaky the frog, they hid behind Harold. And the alligator said, I would love some fish topped with dragonfly, and I love fried frog face. That sounds kind of gross. Harold stomped his feet. Boom, 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 boom. The noise, it sounded a lot more like tum, 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 tum. And it created a mini earthquake. And all the noise and shaking scared the alligator away. Harold yelled at the alligator as it swam away, "Be good!" Harold realized that he was best at something. He was best at protecting his friends. They all celebrated with a dance party. Now see, their friends, Mark the monkey, Barry the monkey, and Chicken the monkey. They had a band called Crazy Bananas. They're really good. And they played all night. It was so much fun. And the alligator, well, it never bothered them again. The end. Now, can we get a round of applause, please? Please, for our young authors, Eric and Owen. You guys, that was amazing. That was such a great story. Such a wonderfully sweet, silly story. And I love the fact he became a protector. That's just wonderful. I love that story so much. Now, one of these things that I do as well is I create these story starters every time they come up, and I'm constantly creating them. And I've mentioned before that my stories, Peanut Butter Dragon, Splash Fit Toothy Grin, The Rainbow Buzz, those were actually made up at bedtime with my two sons, Malcolm and Cooper. Now, not all of the stories we create end up having Malcolm and Cooper in the story. Not all the stories we create we're going to turn into books. Some are just kind of fun to turn into stories at bedtime. But I thought, while we were in PEI this past summer, that was our trip, we drove down to PEI, had a wonderful time. Very beautiful. If you have a chance, go. While we were there, I pulled out one of these story starters and I showed it to the boys, and it was this one right here. A couple of sheep in a forest, and it said the sheep had been wandering for quite some time. They were searching for a home. No place they went seemed right. And so I started asking the boys the way I asked the boys their questions at bedtime, trying to figure out how they want to hear the story. And this story, the next one I'm going to tell you, is the one that Malcolm and Cooper actually put together. And that night they called it A Sheep's Tale. So this is A Sheep's Tale, I guess written by Malcolm and Cooper, which is kind of cool. I like that my own sons are getting creative and doing that kind of thing. And so this is their story that I got permission from them to share with you. So without further ado, this is A Sheep's Tale, which we wrote while we were in PEI this past summer. Tater and Pip, those are the two sheep. Tater and Pip were roaming the countryside, and they were looking for their forever home. Now, every farm they would go to, they would meet the farmer first. And the farmer would say something like, "Oh no, we have too many sheep." Or, "Oh, we're a milk farm. We only have cows." Or the farmer would say, "Oh goodness no, my wife Betsy is allergic." So they finally came to a farm where they did not meet the farmer first. They met a dog. Now, Ralph the dog invited the sheep into the barn because Ralph had always wanted some brothers to hang out with. Now, many weeks go by and Tater and Pip stayed with Ralph, hiding up in the upper barn level there, playing games and telling jokes with three hilarious ducks named Ed, Dish, and Summer. And they would quack jokes like, you get it, quack jokes. They would quack jokes like this: "Where do sheep go on vacation?" "The Bahamas." Or they would say, "What do you get when you cross a chihuahua with a chicken?" "Poached eggs." Or they would say, "What animal do you never want to play a game with?" "A cheetah." Those are pretty good, eh? Now finally, it was winter, and Christmas was just around the corner. Ralph was complaining to Tater and Pip that he didn't have a plan for a gift for Farmer Mike. The sheep, whose wool had gotten so big and puffy that they had bugs and leaves and twigs caught up in their wool coats, they suggested that they maybe could help make a sweater. So Ralph, Tater, and Pip, they worked day and night to make the finest sweater they could for Farmer Mike. Christmas morning came, and Ralph gave his gift to Farmer Mike, and he was so pleased he could not believe that Ralph had made it. Ralph barked, and Mike followed him to the barn, where he introduced Tater and Pip. The sheep, having given up their wool coats, were shivering madly, and Farmer Mike insisted that they come stay in the house and have some hot cocoa. He was so grateful, in fact, he invited Tater and Pip to stay at the farm forever. Ralph and his new sheep brothers were more than a little happy to have a forever home together. The end. Right? How sweet is that? Now, at the time, I guess that's written by a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. Very, very cool stuff. That these stories and these ideas, and if you guide them the right way, children can come up with some amazingly sweet and heartfelt stories and silly stories. I have an absolute blast doing what I do. And so I ask you to join me on that adventure. And I ask you to join me on that adventure. If you head to timholmes.com right there, you can go to the free download section and get a hold of worksheets and crafts to allow you to begin building stories with your children, and continue the adventure of story creation and find that passion of reading, writing, and storytelling. That's what I'm trying to pass on to as many children as I can. Now, a sheep's tale, sometimes, not very often, but sometimes, I will repeat using these guys. And so this one I actually used, the one with the sheep, because I hadn't used it with strangers. I'd only used it with my boys. I ended up using it when I got flown down to Oregon. I went down to Coquille, Oregon back in September of 2019. And I stayed there for a week, and I went back and forth between 2 different schools and worked with 10 different classes, and we built stories all week long. It was amazing. It was tons of fun. So I was down there, first time taking my Start a Story Workshop International. It was wonderful. And so we were able to record a lot of the storytellings that I did as we finished building the story in the workshop, and then I told the story the children had created. We recorded most of them. And so this same story starter where you just heard Malcolm Cooper had created this one here for that you've heard this evening. There was another one that the children in a grade, I believe it was a grade 2 class in Oregon, they created A Tale of Two Sheep. And you can check out my YouTube channel. If you head to timholmes.com and click on the YouTube link, you can bounce over there and check out all my storytelling. But wouldn't it be neat to compare the story I just told you, A Tale of A Sheep's Tale by Malcolm Cooper, and compare it to The Tale of Two Sheep that was written in September with the children in Oregon. It's kind of neat how there are some similarities and definitely some differences, lots of craziness. It's really neat to see the same story starter create 2 completely different stories. So I would definitely check that out. It's coming up this week as well, as I invite you to continue on this creative adventure. Thursday night. Thursday night's the next time we're going to get together here on Facebook Live at 7 p.m. For Ask the Author. So anything you want. If you're working on your own efforts in writing and you're trying to figure out what your next step is, by all means, send me an email, send me a question. I'll be happy to fit that into the Ask the Author on Thursday night. Or you can watch live and comment on the video, and I will definitely help you out with answering questions. That's, again, Thursday night, 7 p.m. for Ask the Author. The other thing that's happening, of course, on Saturday, we're having another story time, and so you can look forward to that because I will have yet another version of a story created from this story prompt that will show up as well. So I would love if you guys want to go back and look at last Sunday's story starter and check out the details and some of the advice I give you. If you guys get a chance this week, write a story about the hippo and his friends and email it to me. And I'll do just like I did for Owen and Eric this evening. I'll share your story with everybody and we'll celebrate your creativity. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to give me a big pat on the back or whatnot, let me know and give me some support. Please go ahead and tell 3 people who don't know about me, don't know about timholmes.com and the free worksheets, don't know about the story times that are happening here on Facebook Live. Tell them about me. Tell 3 people. That'd be great. That'd be amazing. The other way you can do it as well is while you're down on the website downloading free worksheets, you can hop over to the menu and the bookshop, and you can take a peek and check out purchasing my books, Peanut Butter and Dragon, Splashman, Toothy Grin, and the Rainbow Buzz. You can get them autographed, and I'll mail them safely out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for all your support. I love being a part of your story time. Guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and happy creating. Have a great night.